hunting, fishing, loving every day. That's the prayer that a country.
Hey, welcome back to Set the Hook Fishing Club podcast. We're here with Caden, Elliot, and Drake. I'm your host, Lucas, and today we are starting episode 2 of the Winter Steelhead segment. And so first topic of the day is where to find winter steelhead in the river. Caden, you want to go first? What can you tell me about where to find steelhead?
You know, you just gotta kind of look around every once in a while. You gotta skip some spots. Okay, there you go, Elliot.
Thanks, Caden. To you, Elliot?
Well, you've got to start with water. And then just river, with deep holes around the bends.
Okay. Nice. What about you, Drake?
I'm just going to go with what Elliot said. You got to go in them bends, got to go in them deep water in the wintertime, where it's slower. These fish, the cold water, it keeps them kind of lethargic. They don't like to eat much. They kind of just hibernate. It's kind of like a bear.
Right.
They eat everything in the fall time, all them salmon eggs, all the trout eggs. And when they come in, they push around, they move around, they find their holes. And then by wintertime, depending on weather, but mid-December, they go in those dark holes that have a lot more wood, makes them feel safer, and that's where you target. There are certain rivers that you'll find that don't have a lot of deep holes, and these fish sit, and they could be anywhere. Like where we're at, the Black River, there's not many deep holes, so you'll find them really anywhere, or could find them anywhere. But everything's slow, so
yeah.
But if you go up to like Manistee, there's a lot of deep holes up there, a lot of slow water. But you figure out some of those holes are just gravel, and that's just where you find, them in the fall time, or you find them in the winter time. But you just target everything. You hit everything. You don't leave anything
Untouched.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't leave anything untouched. Main time of the winter, we use for bait. And I'm going to ask Lucas, what do you use for bait in the wintertime?
Usually goes from spawn sacks and waxworms and jigs.
Okay. That's a good one. I've used that personally and done pretty well for myself. Anything else?
No, you can't really throw the lures anymore because they're pretty lethargic, so you kind of just got to get it right in your face with using those baits.
Well, right now you can't throw any lures because the river's froze.
Yeah, currently right now it's pretty frozen, but anyways, yeah, I personally, I agree, finding those deep holes, but there's not many in the Black River, I agree too. So Drake, what are spawn bags and what are they used for?
Well, spawn bags are fish eggs. So usually we use king eggs in the fall, and that's how we target steelhead. But then when it comes to wintertime, there's a lull period where either we run out of eggs from fish because the steelhead are not mature enough, or you don't catch a mature steelhead, you can use beads or jigs and waxies until you catch a mature steelhead.
Right.
And like Lucas said, you can use hard baits like crankbaits or spinners, but they're not really trying to eat how would I say that?
Bait fish.
Yeah, they're not trying to eat bait fish, but they're not trying to eat stuff that makes a lot of motion in the water, a lot of vibration, because fish have lateral lines. So that's when we go to smaller presentations like beads or jigs and waxies.
So what are jigs and waxworms?
So jigs is basically lead. It's lead on a hook, but you paint it up so it can be white, green, pink, purple. And you can do a variety of like a blue and, let's say blue and pink. There's a couple of companies like One that I know is Blue Bead Company. They make one that's a blue and purple, and they call it cotton candy. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that they can have they just painted. That's really what jigs and waxes are. And waxworms are just a larva of I think fly.
Yeah. So what can you tell me about spawn bags and waxworms? How do you fish with them?
Spawn bags, you just with a weight, and you take the eggs, you scan, and you put it in the little net and twist it up. Use your magic thread.
Spawn netting.
Tie it up.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, you can float spawn. You can
You
put
can
on
float spawn on a
bottom.
lot of things. You can float spawn on jigs. You can float spawn with a bead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's very, very versatile throughout the whole year. I mean, there's times that I fish in the wintertime, and I mean, that's all I use, the spawn bags. And I do just fine. But there's days that you'll go out and that's won't work at all. And you'll just put on a small jig of waxy, which is, I mean, hell, some of them are about the size of your pinky nail. Very small, and you slay them.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people, there's a debate on, like, what, I mean, there kind of is an answer on what the best eggs are from what fish. You know, there's keen eggs, keen salmon eggs, coho salmon, you got steelhead, you got brown trout. That's about,
Personally, I would say, and I've heard multiple things. I would say coho, skein, or eggs is top three. I would say best for wintertime through into the springtime, which all you really will catch is steelhead. So probably steelhead spawn I would say is best for wintertime and springtime. King eggs are pretty, they're large. Most of the time you really only use king eggs for the first month or so into like November, December area because there's no mature steelhead.
yeah.
But the only time you really use king eggs is for kings themselves as a bait, which you just use skein and you put in a cure, which gives it color, and that's
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Let's switch over to, we're going to do a little fishing report. Drake, you want to give us what you think? How's the steelhead fishing going right now?
well, I would say this year, it's kind of slow. It's been slow. Not a lot of fish been pushing in. It's been really cold. I don't. Maybe this year we just haven't got a lot of fish. There's good size. I've seen some good size. I would just say that a little slow right now. I'd say it's been a little too cold for them to want to move. They kind of follow the water temperature, so when the lake and the river are the same temperature, they kind of go back and forth. When the river's a little warmer than the lake, they probably will go back into the river. But
Yeah.
it's just been so cold. There's so much ice. They're not moving. So I would say slow in some areas. Definitely down here in southern Michigan. Been slow, real slow. Up north, better. I would say better.
Yeah.
I've seen more catches, better fishing report. The rivers aren't frozen too much up there. They got some ice, but not in their rivers. Some of their smaller streams they do, but the bigger ones like the Manistee and I believe the PM, they don't.
Right.
So I've been able to get out.
Yeah, we did have probably early December. We had a push of fish, but it was decent fishing, but it's got pretty slow. January. Ellie, did you have something to say?
There wasn't very many.
Yeah, I didn't see many catches down here. I heard one guy got out.
Like 4 fish they caught all year.
I'm talking about like just overall, not just here though.
On here, I've only seen 4 they caught all year.
It's not been.
I will say I did see one when the ice was when the river was frozen and we had a warm up for a week or so. The river kind of thawed out, or some of the ice moved out. I seen some good fishing that day, that day or that week. A guy that I know, he caught I would say 10 or 12 or so, and he was throwing them back. But But now the river's frozen over and people are on, tip up fishing out there.
Well, the only other really time actually was like November, when we had the Steelhead River tournament. A lot of fish were caught that day for the tournament. So after that, it kind of slowed down, and it's kind of wrapping up. We're almost to springtime, so yeah. Thanks for the report. You guys want to share some fishing stories?
I got this thing I seen. I'm gonna ask Drake if he's seen it before. I was watching Michigan Outdoors last night. I seen they were using these jaw jackers for trout.
Oh yeah, man. They jack on some fish. They're more of a thing that we see for pike. But being on this episode, we're talking about steelhead. I see a lot more over in Wisconsin, in the harbors for brown trout and steelhead.
Yeah.
And they can jack on some fish. So,
Kaden, would you like to add something?
So Drake, how much ice have you seen on these lakes and rivers lately?
I'd say probably about 9 or 10. Some places a little bit, I'd say less, more like 6, 7, but average 8, 9.
Yeah.
The rivers are less though.
They're probably about 4.
I wouldn't walk on the river.
I've seen a lot of the inland lakes have a lot of snow on them lately.
Oh yeah, there was they've kind of hard packed now, and I mean some of them are getting slushy under the snow, but a lot of the snow is kind of packed down on itself, so you're not walking through 2 foot of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's getting slushy out there.
Yeah. Well, that's about it today. Thank you guys for listening. I'm your host, Lucas, and this is Set the Hook Fishing Club podcast. We're out.